Justin Valdes, thanks very much for joining me. It's great to have you here. What are the priorities that you're seeing agencies bringing to you that they're having, and what are you advising them they should be thinking about that maybe they're not prioritizing?
Yeah, some of the biggest priorities we're seeing is closing the gap between some of these compliance structures like zero trust, some of these frameworks, and some of these rich areas where there's mandates or their executive orders, but they don't have the increased budget. They're looking for optimization and efficiency. At Menlo Security, what we do is we're able to provide a really good sticking point and a glue between those systems, and we are the pioneers of browser security and browser enhancements and isolation today. So with that, as far as like a priority is, where do we make all these components come together? And through the power of isolation, we're able to fill a lot of those gaps because browser security isn't a tremendous requirement these days. It is growing in space. It's, I think industry reports it's a multi-billion-dollar industry today, probably 3.5 million by 2028. And the attack surface is exposing that 40 to 45% of attacks these days with the latest studies are through browser exploits or browser vulnerabilities. So the way we're able to deliver that through the cloud or on a network device to be able to provide those enhancements is really filling in the gaps in those systems today.
What are the gaps that need to be filled, and how so?
Well, a lot of agencies or organizations are investing in all these tools or platforms that say zero trust, but then there's a lack of interoperability. And we've heard organizations, agencies say, we have all these zero trust devices, but we're not any closer to that zero trust model. So in introducing isolation, it provides optimized access and a clean cybersecurity surface to allow users to have the open, dirty internet at their fingertips, but without the touch point of the vulnerability to the network or the endpoints that are accessing the internet.
I like the phrase open, dirty internet because it's really what it is. Even in areas that are not necessarily forbidden, they're still kind of rough, and you don't exactly know what's behind the code that people are accessing. Is that the kind of the premise?
Oh, of course. I mean, these days, agencies and organizations are realizing that a firewall or a web gateway just isn't enough these days. There's exploits or vulnerabilities that they can expose, code that they can eject, and we're, especially with AI and the growth and the advancement of that, so we're seeing the next generation of being able to provide that layer of security that allows access, but still give you the security controls as necessary.
You anticipated my next question, which is how does AI complicate this situation?
Oh yeah, speed and efficiency of the attack framework and the surface, right? So these days exploits, can get built up and shut down, and we're seeing that in the DoD, we're seeing that in civilian, we're seeing that across SLED spaces and major enterprises. There's the speed at which things are adapting to be able to be an attack surface or malware mutations. It's accelerating at a great pace, and we have to be able to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm. What should the organizations themselves do to try to keep pace with the threat landscape? And then what's the role of somebody like you to be able to help them?
Isolation, right? Segmentation, isolation, and again, back to browser security exploits. It's a real big blind spot in the industry across private sector and public sector. So being able to introduce isolation security tools, and right now there's a lot of enhancements that are kind of immature that are within some of these SASE platforms that are not all there. We've been doing this for 13 years. We're advancing to the next levels of isolation, the power of it. So being able to introduce those capabilities that are interoperable is the best way to safeguard some of these advancements that are taking off faster than the speed of light.
What's the trend line look like in your area? What should organizations be thinking about in this realm that might not be a threat to them today, but is over the horizon?
Taking the browser security story serious, right? There's a lot of vulnerabilities and exploits that still don't get patched by your major browser providers, and we're not suggesting go replace your browsers. That's going to be a whole nother nightmare to try to manage. It's introducing other agents you then have to segment and operate, and it becomes a nightmare. What we do that's proprietary to us is we're able to take those commodity browsers, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and no matter what pace you're able to keep up with those, we're able to contradict what those vulnerabilities may be within that space. So what we're able to do is deliver that through the cloud rather than saying replace the things that are already free within your environment.
It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.